Michael Jordan is not only the best basketball player, but he's the most exciting basketball player to ever play.
Tatum fires away, pumps it in, 51 for Jason Tatum.
The Big Three NBA podcast is powered by Prize Picks and the Game Time app.
Hello, everyone. Welcome into this episode of the Big Three NBA podcast. The NBA season officially in full swing. The Celtics already undefeated on the season. I love saying that when they get one win. But let's start with Gary, Sherrod, how you doing? Let's start with that. How you two feel?
Well, I'm good, Kwani. How you doing?
I'm good.
How you doing, Gary Washburn?
I'm good. Everything's great.
He's good. Okay, good.
He's just like, can we keep moving?
I know. He's like, we don't got time for the cordial.
How are you? I'm good. How are you?
Doing
good.
well. Thank you for
asking me.
How about this weather? We could talk about this weather because it was hot outside, but that's another story for another day.
You and me, Kwani. Gary wasn't here. Gary is on the road
today. I got some of it. I'm in DC now, but I flew out today.
Okay.
So I got some of the hot weather.
A little bit of it. That's nice. See, we talked about the weather. Boom, check. All right, let's talk about the Celtics. Obviously, they get the win over the Knicks. We'll get into that game in just a second. But the ceremony, legends coming out, Ray Allen notably being there with KG and Paul Pierce. I thought that was a nice little reunion to see the three of them together. But what did you two make of just the festivities beforehand, and then we can get into the actual game?
You know what? They a lot of times when you see these ring ceremonies and everything, it feels as though it is a celebration. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. But in Boston, it feels like it's more of a tradition because when you start looking at the people that they bring out who have contributed to that franchise's existence, when you see Kuzi rolled out there, you see Cedric, the former Big Three with Paul, Ray, and Kevin, and when you see other teams win championships, you don't see that connection historically. It's like we're celebrating a team that just won a chip, and that's great, and that's it. You're not getting much more than that. So I like when the Celtics, are going through something like this because it reminds you of just how historically relevant that franchise, that team is, that organization is, and it kind of gives you a better sense why guys have a tendency to be a little bit emotional in that moment because they realize it. I think in those moments it finally hits them that you are part of an exclusive club that very few people can not only win a championship or be part of a championship team, but be part of a championship family because that's kind of what it is with the Celtics.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I think, for them to bring Kuzi out, and Kuzi, he's 96, okay, and
Larry Bird is not 96, but he can't be there. Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, I mean, Bird's still affiliated with the Pacers. I don't know if, I give Bird his respect. He's starting to show up to more things. He was at the Hall of Fame.
You're right.
He's starting to show up. I don't know.
What team is he known for playing with?
I've never interviewed Larry Bird or found out, but I think it's an affiliation with, and he's been a private guy, but I think he's starting to come out to more events. Hopefully, before he gets too old, they'll bring him to Boston and he'll get all the love he wants and sees how much people still adore him. But going back to Kuzi, he's 96 years old. He lives in Worcester. He's still sharp as a tack. Okay. I'm sure, I don't think he's bound to a wheelchair. I just think probably just for him to be able to.
Mobility
purposes, but he is still sharp as a tack. He talked to our Dan Shaughnessy, who's really been close to him over the years. So I think that was awesome. We couldn't get out Tom Sanders. His wife had an accident. I think she's okay, but he had to be with his wife. But he's still around. He's 85. It would have been cool for them to get someone from the 70s teams like Dave Cowens. I'm sure they tried. I'm not down to faulting the Celtics. Some of these guys don't want to travel like they used to.
I saw Bill Russell's widow was there as well.
Yeah, because they did the bridge ceremony that morning. So I just thought it was awesome. And it was awesome to see Ray, Paul, and Kevin back wearing their gear and just and Max representing the teams from the 80s. Like, you're right. Could they have gotten McHale? Could they have gotten Bird? Of course, it would have been cool to get someone, because I think they kind of be like, all right, Max, you know what you got to do, represent the 80s. And as much as we love Max, and Max is a great representative of the 80s, I think that's a little easy. I love Max, but, could they get more people? But I just think the fact that they got people to celebrate, and then the rings itself, the nice warm-up suits they wore. Obviously, they won't wear those again. I don't know if they will. Maybe they will.
Next,
but I just thought it was an all-together awesome night. And just the tradition, like you said, Sherrod, you learn to appreciate the tradition of this franchise. People ask me about coming here and born and raised in Los Angeles, and you just see the other side. You see the tradition that the Celtics have. And that's what you have to respect. I don't care if you don't like the Celtics, love the Celtics, you have to respect that tradition and what they do or whatever. Meanwhile, like in LA, they're celebrating Bron and Bronny. The Celtics are celebrating real, championships. You know what I'm saying? We're not, they're not celebrating Bron and Bronny with the Griffies or whatever. And as much as,
that will be in the show today.
Yeah, as much as there's a cool moment, let's be real honest. Like, Bronny is not Ken Griffey Jr. Let's just make that clear. Anyway, so I thought it was a tremendous night in Boston, and obviously for them to come back out with all the distractions and play like they played was just incredible, and is a testament to their preparation.
And if you want to find out more about the history,
hey,
look at that.
You get a drink.
We're unpaid spokespeople.
Look at that. Look at that.
Boom.
Look at that. Look at that.
I'd have to walk and get mine. I appreciate y'all.
We got your back.
More on the history. You want to know what Kuzi exactly did to get those championships? You want to know about those games?
Find out.
You want to know about the 70s titles, the 80s? Boston Celtics Illustrated Timeline. Go out and get it. Go out and get it at your local bookstore, Amazon, Target.
I do appreciate you bringing up the Bill Russell Bridge, just so that our listeners, if they do not know, this happened on Monday. The Charlestown Bridge was officially renamed the William Felton Bill Russell Bridge, which is the bridge that connects the North End and Charlestown area. If you are familiar with the Boston area, the greater Boston area. So it was obviously very timely right before the ring ceremony and the banner ceremony, but also just another acknowledgement of the work that he's done in the city. And I appreciate what Jaylen said, the quote, he's getting really good at this public speaking thing, but saying how it would be fitting that Bill Russell get a bridge because of the way that he bridged the gap society-wise in Boston, but obviously greater in the United States in general. So that was a nice tribute to him.
It was, Kwani. It really was. And I just love to see that and hear about that, particularly with players like Jaylen being involved in it. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's a little bittersweet. It's bittersweet because when you look at the things that Bill Russell did, when you look at the legacy that he established, why the hell are we doing this in 2024?
That's real, actually. Yeah.
I mean, if you really start to look at the impact that he has made on a societal standpoint, on the Celtics as an organization, on the city of Boston, and it feels like the last decade is when we decided that we want to start giving Bill his flowers. And it's like,
and he could have smelled them too. That's the frustrating part.
Luckily, he was still around and alive for the statue. Luckily,
true.
Luckily for that.
Yes.
Yeah, but that there's a part of me that's I obviously like what we're seeing, but it's a bittersweet moment for me because when I think about all that he's done and that it took this damn long for folks to give this man the proper respect that he has earned decades before now, you just ask yourself why? Why did it take so long for that to happen? And I mean, you got and again, no shade on this athlete, but A'ja Wilson, she got a statue. And she's still in the damn league.
That's true. I see what you mean. Yeah.
She's 26.
Exactly. And it's no shade on A'ja because Asia's a hell of a baller. And she deserves
nothing against A'ja. She's great.
She absolutely deserves the praise and props that she gets. But to me, it's frustrating.
He doesn't even have a statue at USF.
You know what I'm saying?
I went to campus a few years ago and he won 2 national championships for the University of San Francisco. And Bill Russell does not have a statue at the University of San Francisco.
And you would have thought that
like unless he got some beef with, and even if he got beef with the campus or the university for something they did, you still give him a statue.
Yeah.
Him and Casey Jones, to be honest with you. Both of them went and played at USF, won championships at the university. Just think, the University of San Francisco. Right?
We ain't talking about Duke. We ain't talking about Carolina.
What else y'all got going?
USF.
San Francisco.
Right? I walked on campus. It was a few years ago when Kyrie was still Celtics. I was like, they ain't got nothing here for Bill Russell. Like, they ain't got no statue, no like
a poster,
200-foot statue. Like, that's like, he makes this university. He's the most distinguished athlete ever in the university's history by far. And it's like, I don't get it. But, like Sherrod wrote about this at the Hall of Fame is like, I don't know why we are just so late on these things. Like you said, Sherrod, like I went to the Hall of Fame and they honored Dick Barnett, great New York Knicks player of the 60s and 70s. He retired in 1974, okay? He started playing in 1960. He is 88 years old, and they let him induct him to the Hall. He's in a wheelchair. He could barely, like why are we – did his stats get better? Did Russell's accomplishments get better over the last 5 years? Like, why are you waiting until these dudes are – like, or Walter Davis, and I'm sorry, I'm mad about this. Walter Davis died at 69, and a few years later, he gets in the Hall. Did his stats get better from the grave? Like, what are we doing? Like, his family was there, but it's like, how come you don't let these people in? And even if baseball ever decides to let Pete Rose in, it's too late. He gone. Right. He begged to get into the Hall of Fame and all that. I thought he should have been in the Hall of Fame, but no, we don't want to do that. But I'm just talking about like, when you give stuff people when they're dead, it's great. It sounds great, but it makes us feel better. It don't make them feel better. It doesn't do anything for them. And I'm sure it's great for Bill's family, his wife, his children. I'm sure it's great for them to celebrate their father. But it makes it more bittersweet because they get emotional. And I'm going to say something else, too. The great Peter Vesey pointed this out to me. Casey Jones is not in the Hall of Fame as a coach. I don't get that one. He took the Bullets, which is now the Wizards for you young folks, the Bullets to the NBA Finals in 1975, the first black coach to oppose another black coach in Al Attles, 1975 Finals with the Warriors and the Bullets. Then he won 2 more chips with the Celtics, and had 2 more appearances with the Celtics. So 5 title appearances for Casey Jones, 2 chips. And he's not in the Hall of Fame as a coach. He's in the Hall of Fame as a player. As a coach, Tommy's in the Hall of Fame as a coach. Yep. Bill Russell got in the Hall of Fame as a coach. Mm-hmm. Why isn't Casey Jones in the Hall of Fame as a coach? I know he's passed. He passed like in 2000. And I just don't understand, like you said, Sherrod, like we got to wise up here. We're losing people every day. We lost my man, and I'm going off on tangents. We lost my man Fernando Valenzuela yesterday. Yeah. And for anybody, and I literally teared up. They showed highlights of his no-hitter, basically his last great game as a Dodger, and I teared up because I was a kid in that LA, and Fernando Valenzuela hit LA like a ton of bricks. Him. And you talk about the 80s, him and Magic at the same time in LA, and Fernando, just the sensation, bringing he was the first Mexican athlete or Latino athlete that LA really truly loved because the Mexican community loved him, but we loved him because he was pitching for our Dodgers. And we lost him yesterday. You just see all these people who are passing away. And why don't we honor them when they're alive? Their stats don't get better. And when they're 68, they just did Walter Davis do something in the last year? He gets to the Hall of Fame like it's bittersweet. His daughters are there, but he was alive last year. How come he didn't get in 5 years ago? So I'm sorry to go off on this tangent. I am just tired. So Sherrod makes a great point. I am tired of these we're going to give them a bridge and an airport and all that. They've been dead 20 years. Like, what did they do? They were here. They could have appreciated it when they were here. And some of these people, if someone like a Kobe Bryant, if he dies suddenly, I understand that. Like, you can't do anything about sudden death, the tragedy. But Bill Russell was 88 years old. You know what I'm saying? They could have named his bridge after him 5 years ago. You know, he died in 2022. And I love that Boston is giving their flowers, you know, Bobby Orr, some of the greats, all these people got to the statues and the Red Auerbach Terminal and Auerbach's. Like, that's great. But let's take into account how old these people are. It was hard to watch Dick Barnett in a wheelchair get his Hall of Fame trophy. He couldn't speak. He had to speak on a video message. Like, it was hard to watch that. And that's the Hall of Fame's fault. That man, 88 years old. So he wasn't qualified at 75 when he was probably much more able to get around and appreciate it. How are we going to appreciate it in a wheelchair? You can't speak at 88 years old. This is terrible. Like, so you got me all upset.
No,
it's your fault, Kwani.
I actually appreciate that perspective.
For Casey Jones, so for alert for the Casey Jones is not in the Hall as a coach. 2 championships. Everybody's, Doc Rivers is going to the Hall. Doc Rivers has 1 championship. These people, they're in. Like, Casey ain't in as a coach. So you're right. You know, as much as I love the appreciation for Bill Russell, I wish he had been here. You know, it was good to see him get things over the last 10 years. The statue, you know, and it was. I mean, I remember seeing Johnny Mathis there. Like, for you young people at the ceremony, it was 10 years ago to see Johnny, and he stood alive. Like, I had to tell my mom about that. Like, Mom, I saw Johnny Mathis. I saw Bill Withers was there. I mean, look him up if you don't know who Bill Withers is. I mean, I took a picture with Bill Withers.
Nice.
Like, I was in awe, like complete awe to see Johnny Mathis and Bill Withers in the same place. Legends. Yeah. So, you know, let's move on. I'm sorry.
There's no apology needed. I think that rant was worthy of being had. And I imagine our listeners and viewers, a lot of people agree with you both as well. So thanks for bringing up that point.
Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. This week on Prize Picks, I'm looking at the football board and selecting Justin Jefferson for more than 83.5 receiving yards and Patrick Mahomes for less than 267.5 passing yards. Tyreek Hill is another one that I'm keeping an eye on, and I have him more than 97.5 receiving yards, and Saquon Barkley for some more than 67.5 rushing yards. I'm definitely going to go more. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Let's get into the actual game, because if you didn't see the ceremony, you can probably watch it online. But let's get into the game. Was slated to be a little more competitive than it ended up being. And as Gary had said, one of the things that he wanted to see from the Celtics was to focus on the game itself. The ceremony is nice. You have acknowledged that you were the champion. Now you have to do it again. And I appreciated something that Tatum said right at the end of his speech. He said, let's do it again. And the game that they played showed that he is hungry to do it again. What was your biggest takeaway from Tatum's performance in game 1?
You got Gary.
I mean, the 3-ball looking fluid, looking wet. As Martin said, it looking like the bomb. It looking like the bomb. If you watch Martin, sorry. It looked comfortable. He hit 8 of them. Someone said he had hit 10 all through the NBA Finals. He hit 8 of them last night. His comfort, he seems to have confidence in his new shot. And then added 10 assists, got to the rack. I mean, it was funny. It was like the Knicks got Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby to guard him. And he was just like, who y'all, what?
He waited for people to guard him.
Yeah, like this Trump, this Trump, I mean, he went in on them. OG Anunoby had one basket, made no impact in the game, and Mikal Bridges missed a bunch of shots, then made some in the second half with the Knicks down 30. So, Knicks, he's getting a shot back. That's good indication. Like that was the Knicks should have been completely embarrassed, humiliated by that. The Celtics spent the whole last 9 minutes trying to hit that 30th three. That was embarrassing for the Knicks. And I expected better. I expected better from Towns. I expected better. Brunson was good, but Brunson got beat up a lot. He took a lot of hard fouls. He was for Tibbs' sake, I'm glad he took Brunson out the last 9 minutes and didn't try to run him into the ground because it's only the opener. You'll have another game. But I thought Tatum was just tremendous. The whole team was tremendous, but just Tatum to get that swag back for that three-point shot. Because he's got you watch him early in his career, he shot 43% from the three as a rookie. He got a jumper, but he was doing too much mechanical stuff, working, bringing it down to his waist and doing the slow, and he had to work on that. And that just shows the kind of player he is, that at year 8, he is still reshaping and reforming his game. So look out for a big year from Jason Tatum. 37 points, 10 boards, 10 assists last night, almost a triple-double. I was completely impressed.
Mm-hmm. Gary, I tried to tell y'all last week that they was going to smash New York. People thought I was crazy when I said they might win by 50. I was wrong. They was up by 32, and then they put the brakes on. My bad.
I remember that.
My bad. Listen.
I guess you did say that. I guess you did.
I was like, we remembered. We'll give you credit.
And two reasons why I felt that confident about that happening. One, I think the Celtics are that damn good. And two, I think the Knicks have some major flaws that they are going to be able to mask for the most part up until they see the Celtics when all the chips are on the table. They're going to do well this year. They're going to be the second best team, I think, in the Eastern Conference. At worst, third best. No, they're not going to fall any farther than that. But this game that we saw pointed out the separation between the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks on every single way imaginable. We talk about Tatum because Tatum was awesome. I mean, the three ball was fluid. It was wet. And the thing that I liked about Tatum was that he controlled the game in any way he wanted to. I want to make shots, check. I want to get to the cup, check. I want to get my teammates involved, check. I want to play the defense, check. He did everything he wanted to do when he wanted to do it. It was one of the most dominant games we have seen Jason Tatum ever play. And when I say that, I'm talking about his ability to dominate in every single phase of play that he wanted to dominate in. That is something we rarely see from Jason Tatum. He can control things in one or two categories, but a full sweep, because that's pretty much what he did. And we're not even talking about Derek White, who drained 6 threes. And remember, this is the thing you got to remember about like players and where they stand up as far as the pecking order. When the Celtics did their player intros, the very first player that got introduced was Derek White. You know what that means? He's the 5th option, maybe 4th on a good night. That's the guy that just dropped 24 on you, 6 threes, and he wasn't even like going hard. He was going, huh? No, he wasn't going hard. you got Jaylen Brown. You got Jaylen Brown.
Sure, don't do that again. Don't.
Listen.
Don't do that.
Gary, you and your Garanimo, just relax, man. You and the Garanimo shirt, just relax, all right? All right?
Don't do that again, please.
Bottom line is this. The Celtics didn't even go full blast, and they blasted the Knicks. Because if you think about, as you pointed out, Gary, the last 8-9 minutes, they're trying to hit one shot. If they would have ran their regular offense, they would have scored at least another 10 points. Probably would have won this thing by 35, 40, 45 points easily. That is the separation that is clear and undeniable between them and the New York Knicks. And again, every time they play the Knicks, are they going to win by 30? No. But the Knicks are going to have to play one of, if not their best game, just to compete. Forget about winning. Just to compete, they're going to have to play well because the Celtics, again, they've got so many different ways that they can beat you. And I thought Jaylen, and we're not going to get too deep into it, but I thought Jaylen's defense was low-key really good. I thought when you talk about Brunson being put on his ass a lot, Jaylen has something to do with that. Jaylen showed that extra muscle that we talked about he put on. You know, you think about him doing that and using it to score at the rim and things like that. No, he was putting that wood to Jalen Brunson on a regular. And if you're the Knicks and you go back and you watch the film of this, obviously, that has to stand out to you that, damn, we got to find a way to get him off of Jaylen because that Jaylen on Jaylen crime is real, y'all.
Jaylen with a Y. Exactly. I have to add, Jalen Brunson actually, well, he didn't say this, but our friend, we should have had him on the podcast. I don't know, you guys know. James Edwards.
That was the third, yeah.
Josh Hart, sorry, no, it wasn't Jalen. It was Josh Hart who joked that the NBA needs to drug test them dudes. I never seen anything like that. Of course, Knicks fans were mad about the quote, but I thought it was actually hilarious because it wasn't right.
That's coming from the perspective of someone who just got their ass kicked. And Josh is thinking like, what can we do? What can we do?
Be real.
Here's the other thing, Kwani. Here's the other thing, too. They shot 55% from the field. They only turned the ball over 11 times. And they didn't turn the ball over a lot. They shot the ball well from the field. They shot like, I think, 37% from three-point range. So when you start looking at their numbers, if someone tells you that they were in a blowout, they'd say, oh, yeah, they probably won.
Doesn't make sense. Yeah.
They probably won by 15, 20 points. But now they got that ass whipped.
Yeah.
Got absolutely decimated. And that's the scary part if you are the New York Knicks. I mean, you played
just think, Sherrod, I'm looking at the box score here. The Knicks shot twice as many free throws as the Celtics. Peyton Pritchard was 1 for 10 and 1 for 9 from 3. If he even gets half going, he hits 3 or more. I mean, you're right, Sherrod. I mean, Tillman and Pritchard combined to go 2 for 16 from the field, 1 for 12 from 3. So if they even warmed up a little bit, it would have been a 40-point win. You're right. They shot 55%, 37 from 3. They shot 16 free throws to the Celtics 8. So you can't complain about the officiating. So to me, just like you said, a tremendous effort. And it was like they put their B performance and still was able to take care of them.
And the guy that set it off was Tatum. I mean, there's no question. He was the guy that got it going in the first half. I mean, had a damn near double-double in the first half. I think he had 25 in the first half, which, you know, the way he was shooting the ball, the way he was getting his teammates involved, his defense, it was, again, one of the most complete, dominant performances I think we've ever seen from Jason Tatum, as far as what he did at both ends of the floor and how he was able to mix up his impact at both ends of the floor, whether it was defensively, keeping this guy in front of him, contesting shots, getting in passing lanes, just doing all those things. And on offense, 3-ball, getting to the cup, you name it, he did it.
And Gary mentioned the 3-point shot. It's very telling that the Celtics get a ring ceremony. The banner gets raised. They have a blowout win. And at the end of, towards the end of the fourth quarter, the crowd that was still there, because honestly, most of the fans had left, were just chanting one more 3 because the Celtics actually ended up tying the NBA record with 29 points with made threes. But they didn't get to break the record. And that's all people, like, that's what most of the people that did end up sticking around for, that's what they were saying for, just to see that record being broken. But again, it's very telling that you have all these things happen and now you're just waiting around for a record to be broken because the game was not entertaining at that point.
And that's the scary part about this Celtics team. I mean, if there was going to be a game this year where they weren't going to have their locked in focus, this was going to be it.
Right.
It's kind of scary that this team, you know, again, as Gary pointed out, this was not a great game that the Celtics played. They played good. They did a lot of really good things, but as we pointed out earlier, they allowed a team to shoot 55% from the field. They didn't force that many turnovers. They allowed them to get to the line way more than they did. Now, obviously, the 3-point shot negates a lot of that, but Joe Mazzulla is not going to have an issue of getting this team focused for the next game because there's more than enough stuff that he can point to and just say, hey, we need to tighten up here. I mean, this McBride off the bench. What? You know, Jalen Brunson getting, you know, uncontested, you know, blow-bys, getting to the rim. So there's a lot of things that they can get even better at, and they're definitely going to be focusing on that. But the fact that you have plenty of material that you can improve upon, and you still beat the snot out of a team by you know, a significant margin that could have been twice as big if you weren't trying to make one shot in the last 8-9 minutes.
Yeah.
the Celtics are scary good. Scary good.
Sherrod, you mentioned that you still think the Knicks can be at least second or third in the East, which obviously that is attainable. But what do you think New York's takeaway is from a game like this?
I think for them, there's a couple things. First and foremost, they have to do a better job of balancing their offense. I think there's still too much pressure on Jaylen to carry that team. They need Mikal Bridges to not wait till the damn second half. You down by 25 to all of a sudden start making some shots. Mm-hmm. They need, OG to play like an OG and be one of the elder statesmen on that squad and play like you can get something done other than just breaking shots. He was like 1 for 7. He has to be better. And last but certainly not least, and this is why I'm going to consistently keep them a notch or two below the Celtics. Karl Anthony Towns. I'm sorry. 12 points, 7 rebounds? Stop it. Stop it. You have to be better than that. You have to be better than that. And if you can't be a physical, menacing, intimidating guy, give me some damn stats. Give me numbers. Because at least if you do that, it's like, you know what? He's not exactly the most enforcing. He's not an enforcer or anything like that, but damn, he did give me 25 and 12. If you can't do that, Karl Anthony Towns, then what are you doing out here? Because, I mean, and again, Al Horford, this was not a game Al Horford out there. This was like, I've had one preseason game and I'm just trying to just basically crack a sweat and hope that, not too much is put on my shoulders. And Al did a great job on him. And I don't think Al was playing great basketball, but it looked better than it was because Karl Anthony Towns did just look very timid out there. Like he really didn't feel the need to try to be an aggressor. This is a lot of the stuff that why folks in Minnesota are not exactly, shed tears for him to leave. And Tibbs, I will say this. He has become much more open-minded about allowing his guys to be a little bit more free-flowing with the offense. You don't feel like they're just basically trying to beat you 75-73 every night. And so that was an encouraging thing. But they need guys who can make shots. And when you let a guy like Dante go, and you let a guy like Julius Randle, who both guys can get buckets, and you bring in a guy who maybe has significant upside offensively, but doesn't have the same level of toughness and doesn't have that same level of, what, in my opinion, consistency to deliver night in, night out, this might happen. I still think they're going to be better than Philly because Philadelphia in that load management with Paul George and Joel Embiid is going to be a problem. They're going to lose a lot of games that are going to be because they're one or both of their top 2 players aren't around. That's more than anything else why I think New York is probably going to be the number 2.
All right, looking ahead, Gary is in D.C. with the next game. On Thursday, the Celtics play the Bullets, and then on just being funny, and then on the Wizards.
The Wizards.
I know, it's funny. And then on Saturday,
yeah, they should still be the Bullets.
Why not?
Ain't like them changing the name to the Wizards and lowered the murder rate in DC.
As if the name has something to do with people getting captured.
Yeah, I'm not going to shoot you because it's the Wizards now, not the Bullets.
You're
what?
Oh,
because it was after the name was the Bullet. It was not the Bullets. It was a bullet train that used to go through Baltimore. They were the Baltimore Bullets, and it was after the bullet train. It was not after the bullet.
You have to write the Bullets book next.
Like break yourself, fool. Like it wasn't. That wasn't why the team in Baltimore / Washington was named the Bullets. It was not.
You can't get an illustrated timeline on the Bullets.
Yes, there is a chapter. There is a little thing on the Bullets beating the Celtics in '75.
There we go.
Ending their chances to try to repeat. But they were named the Bullets over the bullet train. It was not because, of
gun.
Of like shoot them up. No.
The more you know. But,
yes.
This moment in Washington Bullets history.
They ain't never been right since they've been the Wizards. Let's be honest. Ain't no Wizards. Ain't no Wizards in Washington, D.C.
Not even Michael Jordan could revive them.
No, I didn't walk the streets. I ain't seen no Wizards walking around here. But
they could use one.
You're right, Kwani. The Wizards opener. Yep. The Wizards and the Wizards, I will say, they got okay.
Don't do it, guys. Don't do it.
They're going to be bad. No, they're going to be bad, but they got a lot of young talent. No, I ain't going to be good. No, I ain't that crazy. They got young talent. They got crazy Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma. They've got Alex Sarr, the number 2 overall pick. I mean, they're going for the Cooper Flag sweepstakes, right? Brian Keefe, who's actually from Winchester, a local guy, is their coach. They retained him. So Washington is a team that the Celtics just have to be careful of dudes playing over their head on opening night.
A reunion with Brogdon.
Yeah, Brogdon's hurt.
He's hurt. Yeah, dang.
Making it a close game or whatever. You want to take care of them early, because I said they're Bub Carrington's going to be a good rookie. Colaby, the French kid, in second year. Keyshawn George. They are painfully young, but they have talent. So you hope if you're the Celtics, and I'm not saying they're going to lose. You just take care of them early. You punch. Those dudes going to be hype. It's opening night. It's probably going to be a sellout. There's going to be a lot of Celtic fans there. But you just want to be where the next two games, Washington and then they go to Detroit. Same kind of situation. Detroit's obviously a little better, a little bit more experienced. But Washington, painfully young, but they do have talent. So don't let one of those young guys go off. Don't have a hangover over this game. Take care of business, pound them down, and then give yourself an easy night. And you see a lot of Jared Springer and, maybe even J.D. Davidson and Drew Peterson and Kate out there in the fourth quarter. Give yourself a night off by punching them first in the first half. That's good because it's their opening night, and they're going to be hype. It's the Celtics, good young talent, but they're obviously the Wizards, Bullets, are going to struggle.
But Gary, here's the thing: other than getting ring, it's going to feel like opening night for the Celtics because and I know that crowd is going to be significantly.
There'll be a lot of Celtic fans in DC.
I mean, even when the Celtics were like a decent squad,
they always had more.
They've always had great support in DC. Yeah. It should be maybe half and half. I said that's a testament to Washington sports, Washington basketball, that they just haven't had the success, and it's sad. And I think this is a great basketball city. A lot of amazing players have come from the Washington, D.C. area, the Kevin Durant's and Lynn Biases, Adrian Dantleys and those. I mean, I'm just naming a few, and they are just desperate for a winner, but they are literally blowing this thing up and trying to get Cooper Flag and then, and just trying to start over again. So it could be an ugly game tomorrow. And if you're the Celtics, that's the way you want it. You want to blow them out. Do not let them hang around and let them rookies get confidence.
Yeah. For the folks who couldn't make it to Boston for the ring ceremony, this is the next best thing.
Yeah, they take the train down.
Next best thing. The ticket's going to be cheaper, and the ticket's going to be way cheaper.
It'll be $1,000. I'll give you that.
$1,000 for you can get your whole section for $1,000 in DC.
Popping bottles at the arena.
Your cousin, your nephew.
So Kwani, who was the biggest celebrities at the game last night?
Okay, I actually have an embarrassing story. So I think one of the big
Michael B. Jordan. Don't you dare say
no. Okay, so I really do need to do better though because Kai Cenat was there, and I'm not gonna hold you. I know his name. I could not pick him out of a lineup.
Yeah, he's like 5'5", right? He's pretty short.
Yes.
Yeah, the dude with the shades on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I've actually seen them in commercials, but it just didn't click. So I see these three very fly black men walking past me. And I was like, they look really good at a game. Like, you know what? I'm going to say something. Y'all look good. So I said, I was like, y'all look really fly. Literally on, not even being weird, just wanted to acknowledge, y'all look good. I walk away. An hour later, my coworker, he's showing me the Celtics Instagram, and they do the celebrity roll usually. And then the first picture on the top, brim hat, jacket, the locks. It's Kai at the top of the slideshow, and I'm like, I literally just talked to this man and had no idea who he was. And now I'm looking back, I'm like, when I complimented them, did they just think I was a complete idiot for not knowing who they were? Did they think the compliment was genuine? I overthink things if you can't tell. So I was like, dang, they probably think I'm just an idiot for.
Well, at least you didn't take a picture and just give them the side eye.
You're right. That would have been worse. So
Like.
At least I acknowledge their existence.
Don't act like you haven't done that before, Kwani.
Louise. But let's see. The Mark Wahlberg was there. They always put Dave Portnoy on the Jumbotron. I don't really get the celebrity, but whatever. Who else? I think honestly, and the thing is, between Kai and like Dave Portnoy, those people have huge followings, celebrity-wise, for sure. There were some Patriots players there. And of course, the Celtics legends that we mentioned, Kuzi, KG, Paul Pierce. I'm trying to think of if anyone else stood out. I don't think there were any.
Iguodala was there.
No, I lied. ASAP Ferg was there too.
Yeah. They put him on a Jumbotron.
Yeah, everybody was there for Jaylen's birthday. But yeah, I think those are the biggest celebrities. Boston needs to do better with the celebrity row. And I don't know if it's just the fact that people don't want to come to Boston. It has to be that because it's good basketball. It's just clearly everyone hates. If you're not like a friend of a player, then you clearly hate the team, I guess, and don't want to be here.
Yeah, I was hoping that we
support tied at TD Garden.
I was hoping that somebody like Nelly would have showed up, show some support for JT. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. That's well, isn't Ashanti pregnant? Did she have a baby yet?
I'm not sure. I think she's pregnant.
Yeah, a little 90s throwback love arrangement there.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Shocker. If you love something, let it go, and it might come back to you in 2023 or 24.
Facts.
It's a wild.
Basketball season will be here before you know it, and that is great news for Celtics Nation as the Boston Celtics look to defend their league best 18th NBA title. There's no better way to get in on the action than Game Time, which is where you can find the best deals on basketball and football, as well as concert tickets, NFL, and so much more. One of my favorite Game Time features is Game Time Picks, which makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste a ton of time searching through thousands of tickets. One of the hottest tickets out there will be the opening night for the Boston Celtics, which is when they'll get their championship rings prior to facing the much improved New York Knicks. You can bet emotions will be running high, and the same can be said for the cost of getting into the building. Not a problem, especially with the Game Time app where prices tend to be lower for tickets the closer you get to tip-off. And figuring out where you want to sit is a breeze. Having the map of the TD Garden laid out before you on the app, along with the different colored price coding throughout, it makes it super easy to find the best seats for your budget and not have to scramble all over your app to do so. And you're covered by Game Time's lowest price guarantee, where Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
But yeah, Detroit's on the list too, looking ahead to that. Another young team, not necessarily a good team either. Sherrod, what do you think Celtics?
Yeah, Sherrod, tell us about Detroit.
Your favorite team.
Detroit is going to be dangerous again. I'm curious to see how their new coach is going to utilize that roster. They're basically an older version of Washington. I mean, if we're being honest, they got lots of really good players who are just young. And if they continue to grow and evolve and get better, then they'll be competitive. But Detroit this year, I mean, the goal for them is to get in the play-in. I don't think they can say playoffs because, frankly, it's a goal, but realistically, get to the play-in game, and then we can talk playoffs. And if you're Boston, those are the teams that I worry more about than New York. It's easy to get up and lock in for New York, but after you beat the snot out of them, and then you got to go on the road and play Washington, which is really like a home game on the road, and then you go to Detroit, where you don't really know how different they're going to be now. With new coach and guys a little bit older. So that Detroit game is going to be harder than people realize. They're not going to beat Detroit by 30, 40 points. That's probably going to be a single-digit win for the Celtics. Washington might get ugly. Washington might be like Knicks opening night 2.0. So, the Celtics, they got to just keep stacking these wins and finding ways to get better. And the concern after a game like the New York one is that they'll fall in love with the three-point shot more than they already love the three-point shot. And they had it going against New York, and so that you keep shooting it. But if you don't have it going, is Tatum going to look to attack off the dribble more? Is Jaylen going to find ways to impact the game with the mid-range game? Are they going to get more contributions from guys off the bench? Can Peyton Pritchard put that 1 for 10, 1 for 9, whatever the hell he shot from the field behind him and be more impactful? So there's a lot of things that they can clean up going forward. But my only concern about the Celtics is more about them than the opponent. Because to me, there just aren't teams that are built right now to compete with them. Their biggest competition is themselves. If they play their game and play half as good as they are capable of on most nights, that's going to win you 50 some odd games by itself. So they got to play just a decent game and just get that dub and keep everyone healthy. That's it.
All right, quickly looking around the league before we wrap up, 2 things to know. Let's start with Gary's favorite subject, the Lakers in their season opener. Bronny James makes it officially, plays with his father. They beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. In that game, Bronny scores a team high of 0. I'm kidding. He does not score, but
damn, Kwani.
I'm sorry, that wasn't even honestly.
That's not like you. That's not like you. You usually be nice. Team high of 0. You ain't right.
Kwani has been hanging around me too much. Clearly. That's Kwani. That was
honestly,
classic.
if Bronny happened to see this, I do apologize.
No, that ain't right. That ain't right.
I don't apologize. He scored a team high 0.
Hey, LeBron Nation,
I don't want no one coming
don't look at me.
I'm nice. I really am nice. I was dang.
They want me this time.
Hey, Gary, that vote for Carmelo, forgive it.
You're forgiving Carmelo.
I'd have voted for Bronny for MVP.
You know what? Do we want to even talk about this?
No, let's talk about it. You even brought it up.
So how do y'all feel?
You one of them, Kwani? I don't want to bring it up, but I'm gonna bring it up. People,
no, I brought it up already. We're already in the trenches.
I don't want to talk about how you do, but
right.
You just brought it up. You just talked about it.
NBA Twitter is divided. Of course, there are people that are like, "Oh, this is great, this is history," but then there are other people that are just plain up upset about the fact that he is playing for this team, that he's getting actual minutes. So, what do you two say to that?
I'm gonna keep my comments brief because I'm gonna let Gary go off on this one for a minute. I know Gary got some feelings on this, but my issue is this: I love the fact that the young fella's getting to play in the greatest league in the world, but I am very disturbed by the fact that this dream is your daddy's dream. This ain't Bronny's dream. I mean, when they played that first preseason game, LeBron went on and on afterward about how it was great to be a part of something so special, and Bronny was like, it was just good to play a game. I'm just trying to get better. And to me, that was a crystallization for me that young fella just wants to play basketball. He don't want all this other stuff. And Bronny knows, I think in his heart of hearts, that he probably shouldn't be in the league. And if we're being honest and keeping it 100, Daddy put a thumb on the draft scale to make sure that he went to LA. Absolutely. Because here's the thing. I'm not convinced he would have got drafted if he would have got past LA. Mm-hmm.
But there were threats for him to go overseas if another team were to draft him before he went to LA as well. Well, reportedly, but
it's a weak threat because teams are like, so let me get this straight.
I don't take his son, you're
gonna punish us for not drafting with the 51st pick, this kid.
Yeah,
The guy that I thought was going to do something like that was Danny Ainge. I thought so too. They
had the pick right before. It would have been kind of funny, but that's
Celtics
idea.
I was convinced that Danny might go there. But
Brad.
The thing that bothers me more than anything else about this, and I'm gonna pass it to Gary, is that it feels as though Daddy is living the dream that Daddy had through his son. And to me, at one point, very soon, LeBron ain't gonna be in the league, and then Bronny, he's gonna get his 4 years in LA. After that, what's he going to do? Is anyone going to take him on? Are the Lakers going to keep him around? Is he going to be like a Laker for life? Because at some point, don't make him like, the younger version of Udonis Haslem, where he's on your roster.
Just chilling.
Just bro man chilling. So.
Cracking up.
He get like a tattoo, Laker for life. Like for life, boo. Like for life, boo.
In that script.
I just can't. Come on, Sherrod.
What's the name of that font? I'm picturing a specific font right now, like motorcycle game.
Yeah, the video game, the Clipper one, or the car stealing font, the gangster font.
Number 4, LYFE, of course.
Okay. You know what? It is what it is. It's happened. I just hope that they do right by Bronny and send him to the G League and let him get better. He's not ready for the NBA. I think we all see that. And if I hear this one more comparison to Griffey's, let's look at the Griffey's. Ken Sr. was 40, which is not too old for a baseball player. Baseball players can play into their 40s. He was still a productive,
less contact.
Bench player when he played in Seattle. He was ending his career. Yes, his career was coming to an end. But Ken Griffey Sr. was not some terrible player. He was still productive. He just couldn't play as much. 40 is not old. When Ken Griffey Jr. we talked about this, was at Moeller High School in Cincinnati, everybody knew he was the truth. Everybody knew, you can tell. Like when you say a high school player, you saw LeBron in 03 before he got drafted. You were like, yeah, this dude is different. When you saw Derrick Rose at Simeon, when you saw these guys come out, when you saw Kobe, even though he wasn't playing to get the great competition, when you saw Kobe at Lower Merion, right? You see these kids and you're like, yeah, he's got it. It might not happen right away, but this dude's going to be a star. No one says that about Bron. He is not Ken Griffey Jr. If he was, I wouldn't say a word. If he was top 10 pick, if he was he averaged 4.5 points per game at USC and shot 27% from the three-point line. He's going to get better by natural maturing physically, maturing mentally, and working hard. But he is not Ken Griffey Jr. Let's stop that comparison. That was kind of real. The Mariners signed his dad. Ken Griffey Jr. was the number 1 overall pick in 1987 out of high school. Number 1, Ken Griffey Jr. Okay. Everybody knew he was the freaking truth. When you see these kids, and we've all been around to see some of these kids in high school, and you're like, yeah, they're gonna be good. They're the truth. So to me, I just feel like I want them to do right by Bronny. Send him to the G. He's got the glamour. He's got enough cars. He's trying to live the NBA life, bro. You ain't an NBA player. And what are these young guys in the other Lakers, the Jaylen Hood Shafinos, and some of these guys, Max Christie's, and think when he's getting minutes and they're not? What do they think about that?
Because Gary, to your point, they're practicing with him, so they know what's happening. And it's just wait a minute.
That's the thing. And he's 6'1". So what's his max? What's his cap here? What's his max? What's his ceiling? Right. Some people said Patrick Beverly. I don't know if he's Beverly worked so hard to just be a journeyman, bounce from the G League to then 10 days, all to become Pat Bev. It had, now he's in Israel. Pat Bev had maybe his attitude kind of got him out the league, but Pat Bev had turned his to a solid NBA player, had a solid career, pissed a lot of people off, but played good defense and all that, right? But if that's your ceiling, then I don't know what to say. Because eventually, like you said, Sherrod, LeBron's going to retire, and then he's going to be on his own. And I don't think money will ever be he won't be out on the street or nothing like that. Right. But he don't
got to worry about encampment or anything like that. He
ain't got to worry about getting his house foreclosed on, and like that. But to me, you got to do what's best for him. And this young man needs to work on his game, go to the G League, be by himself, not with daddy next to him. Let's end this now. Send him to the South Bay Lakers, let him practice, let him get 35 minutes a game, and let's cultivate him into, by the time he's 21 or 22, he could be a capable NBA player. We don't see no all-star potential. You would have seen it by now. You saw it in Tatum. You saw it in Brown. When a dude is 19 or he's 20, okay? Tatum was 20. The year when he dunked on LeBron, he was 20. Mm-hmm. to me, when Jaylen was 20, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you see it. You see 20. Victor Wembanyama's 20. You see it, right? Like, you know, like Bronny would be lucky to make one all-star team at this point. Like, so we don't see it yet. And if you're 20 and you don't have it, like, you know, you ain't Michael and the Jackson 5, man. You are like, you know, you ain't Michael. You are not Michael. You saw, you were like, yeah, that dude's superstar. You saw when you see it, you see it. We all know it. We know enough ball to know when you see it, you see it. This is not it. So let's hope that it's over. He got his minutes. He was a -5. He missed 2 shots. He got a rebound. That was cute. But don't mock the game like this. This is NBA ball. You know, don't mock. There's brothers in the streets that should deserve more of a chance. Brothers in the hood, brothers, you know, in college ball who are like, you know what, this is what we're doing. So that's all. But I want them to work on. I want Bronny to go to the lab. Mm-hmm. If you got to spend 2 years in the lab, and by the time you're 22, 23, you're ready, then that's fine.
I'm with that. Finally, before we wrap up, the Sixers, they're preparing for their opener on Wednesday night. By the time you listen, they'll probably, you know, the game would have been over, but they also will be playing without Embiid and Paul George. The NBA is actually reportedly investigating the fact that they're seeding LeBron, I can't even speak, that Joel Embiid will be benched for this game. Do you guys know anything? Should have had Pompey, our guy Keith, on here too.
it has to do with the fact that it's a national TV game. And they usually take a closer look at when star players are missing national TV games. Right. I call it the Popovich rule. Because Pops did not give a damn about national TV, regional TV, you know, he just didn't care. Yeah. And so they naturally do that. But Joel, you know, if they're saying that Joel is you know, coming along fine, but he's not playing, the league wants to just make sure that that's, in fact, everything's up and up. Yeah. But it speaks to a larger concern with Philly, and that is clearly there's a load management plan for Joel. And there has to be one for Paul George. And this might be the only team where you've got two, not one, but your two best players are both under load management. And you haven't won a championship. It's one thing if guys just kind of age into that position where you got to manage their time because they've had a lot of success together. You literally went out and brought this dude, Paul George, in the mix, knowing damn well that health-wise, you're going to have to monitor him much closer than you normally would a superstar. And so it's raising a lot of questions, a lot of concerns. But the big thing for Philly is you can't develop the continuity that you want as a team when you've got one or both of your top two players in and out of the lineup for health/load management. Although for fantasy league owners of Maxey, this is good because he's going to eat good every night because he's going to get every damn shot he wants. But is that going to be enough to help this team win games? Not in the East. Not as well. So, like I said, they're going to be, at best, I'd say, third best team in the East. But I could easily see them falling down to 5th or 6th, just depending on the health of Joel and Paul George.
I like it. Gary, you good? He's muted. All right. Well, that's all we have for this week's episode of the Big Three NBA podcast. The season's just beginning, guys. 1 down, 81 to go. Until next week, for Sherrod Blakely and Gary Washburn, I'm Kwani Lunis. And quick reminder, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe, share with a friend, because like we said, we have a long season to go to banner 19. I've never actually said that. Wow, we can say banner, the road to banner 19.
And hopefully Bronny can score another career high 1 point.
Exactly. Thank you all for listening or watching, and we'll be back next week.
Kwani started, Gary. Kwani started.